What's up, guys? Alright, so basically what I'm going to do with this video is a brief idea of why I got rid of the 2013 and got into the 2018, as well as kind of like a reintroduction to the channel, because I told you guys I'd be back in a little while, and it took a little bit longer than expected. So getting out of the 13 and getting into the 18 was a really hard decision for me. I had that 13 since brand new. I bought it back in November 2012, as I've told you guys in the past. And making the decision to get out of that and get into this was really difficult. I had a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money into that car, and it had a huge amount of sentimental value to me, because it was the very first car that I had ever purchased entirely on my own. Parents didn't co-sign on it. I didn't have any help from anybody. I purchased the car entirely on my own, and it was the car that really got me into the car scene. But I ended up taking a trip with my girlfriend Tiffany over to Orlando, and we went to the Orlando International Auto Show and waited in line for hours to test drive cars, and one of the cars was a 2018. They had a fully loaded, it wasn't auto, fully loaded 2018, and I test drove it, and that was my mistake. Jumping 2 model years is drastically different. Even just sitting inside of the car, I can't even express to you the differences that there are going from the 13 to the 18, and it's one of the main reasons why I made the switch, was the fact that it is nicer in every single way, shape, and form inside the interior. I no longer feel like I need to change any of the interior out. Would I like a new steering wheel with a flat bottom? Yeah, I would. Would I like a carbon fiber one? Yeah, but my fucking steering wheel is heated. Like, come on. So it came down to the fact that there were just things that I no longer needed to swap out. I no longer needed to change. As well as when you started getting further into the car, everyone knows how far I was pushing the 13. Everyone knows, how much power those motors and drivetrains can take. And y'all know that I beat the shit out of my car. It sold with 76,000 miles on it. I drove 52,000 miles in the last year. And in order for me to get the car to where I wanted it to be, I was going to have to put a lot of money into it. And rather than put the money into that, I could upgrade into the 18 and have everything done that I wanted to do. The new MT82 4D is fantastic. 4th gear is now the 1-to-1. They replaced the plastic shift forks with bronze shift forks now, so you no longer have to worry about throwing it into gear and breaking a shift fork or losing a synchro or anything of that sort. Ford's actually so confident in it that the 2018 now has a wide open throttle box from factory. Like, I've got 4,700 miles on it now in a little bit over a month, and every time I do a pull, it's a wide open throttle shift. Every fucking time. And you know what? I'm not worried about it breaking. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact of getting into my car and having it start up every single day and not think that it's going to break on me, or that I'm going to have to be stuck somewhere or stranded, or, it's a convenience factor for me because I daily drive the car. Then, not to mention the new motor. So much better. In every aspect of it. It is now a 307 cubic inch. It is a 93.5 millimeter bore instead of a 91.5 millimeter bore. It's a 12-to-1 compression ratio instead of an 11-to-1, which does hurt you a little bit when you come into the boost category. But for naturally aspirated, the car makes 440 horsepower wheel from factory through the manuals from what we've seen people getting. Now with the JLT intake and Lund tune on it, we're making 465 on 93 octane with basically nothing done to the car. Through talking with John over at Lund, putting it on E85 and putting headers on it, we'll be over 500 wheel with bolt-ons, which was never possible in the 13, ever. And that's on E85. You're not talking 110, you're not talking 116, anything. You're not talking race gas, you're talking E85, something that I can get at almost every pump across the United States now. So it drastically improved my ability to bring more power to the car, because I wasn't happy with the car where it was. And so you know, getting a nicer interior, getting a nicer overall car, as well as all of the new features that they threw at you. The digital dash, I'll put some video in here in a little bit that I'll show you. I'll kind of go through the steps, you know, that we have for the digital dash and the multitude of different modes that you can customize, as well as the active exhaust, which has to be one of my favorite things ever. I'm back at 3 in the morning and Tiffany wants to pass out in the passenger seat, quiet mode. You're driving past the cop and you don't want him to know that you were just racing, quiet mode. It takes less than a half a second to put it into quiet mode, and it's gone. But then the availability to have a normal mode, which sounds decent, a track mode, which sounds like fucking NASCAR. I mean, it's exceptionally loud for being a stock exhaust. I'm thrilled. I wish Ford would have put big-ass chrome tips on it instead of having the little, you know, baby 2.5 tips, but that is what it is. That's Ford for you. But it was an overall step up for me. Not only because it was, you know, a newer car, but because it was so much newer. And I also wanted the availability to bring better content to everyone, because this is what I truly enjoy doing. I enjoy doing the Instagram posts. I enjoy doing the YouTube videos. I enjoy talking to you guys and meeting you guys at car shows, meets, events, all of it. I absolutely love it. And it's grown on me. And I felt that where the car was, I wasn't able to provide the best content. And I felt like I needed to improve what I had in order to provide you guys with better content. So yeah, that's pretty much the main reasons why I switched over. I wasn't having issues with the 13. It still treated me fine. It treated the new owner perfectly fine too. So it's not because I didn't like the car. It has nothing to do with that at all. It's purely the fact that I wanted more, not only for myself, but for you guys as well. And because of that, I traded in on the 18. Now, I know that after like, what, 7 or 8 minutes of this, y'all are probably bored. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. So before I go, I am going to give you a little bit of overview, like I said, about like the interior of the car, and I'll show you the engine bay and everything. And then I'm going to show you a little bit about the digital dash here and why it was one of the main deciding factors on me picking the 18. Alright, so let me come out and look at the engine bay. And like I said, I've had a little bit of help from JLT already. You can see the cover there has been painted. I've also got a painted fuse box cover, and then their massive JLT intake. I couldn't leave the car stopped for long, and we did the JLT intake and the Lund tune. You can see how different the motor itself actually looks. If you pull the cover off, you see all of the direct injection components, and that's the only reason that I still have the cover on right now, is because it looks so horrible with it taken off. Alright, so here is what the digital dash looks like. This is it on the normal mode. This is the mode that it starts up on every single time you start up the car. It is completely customizable. You can go through here and change the color, you can change the gauges that you're able to see, you can change the cluster appearance, but I'll show you that in a little bit. So there's the normal mode right there. If you go over to the mode selection switch and you click up, you can see it flips up and it says My Mode there. This is the mode that I drive around on. It's my custom settings, and I use the track gauge, because you can see up at the top there, it's got the RPMs going across. You've also got your RPM over here. If you were in the auto, that would actually be the gear that you were in, and then your speed over here on the right-hand side. You can also cycle through and select here. There's where you can see your G-forces that you're pulling, and then you can put up another set of analog gauges for a variety of needs on the car. I don't really like the analog gauges because they're difficult to read while driving, so I'd much rather see my digital output right there, but Ford gave you the option for it. So when I flip up into My Mode as well, I also put it on track mode exhaust, and I'll show you that here. You can kind of come over and you can see the exhaust modes here. There's quiet that I was talking about, and I'll roll the window down here and give you a listen to what it sounds like. Quiet mode is quiet. There's not much that comes out of it at all. If you cycle down to normal mode, you can hear a change. I don't know if the microphone will pick it up, but you can hear a change immediately just in the idle. So this is what normal mode sounds like. Definitely deeper, definitely throatier. Sport mode I'm slightly disappointed in because I don't really notice a difference in it, but here's what it sounds like. of course, you can flip it back onto track mode here. And track mode, like I said, is my exhaust of choice while driving. You can also see that when I was revving it there, in the RPM gauge, as it goes up, it actually gets a darker color as you increase towards redline, which I thought was a really cool little feature that Ford just decided to add in. Then you get into the rest of the interior, and compared to my 13, I mean, it's just worlds different. It's all real leather instead of being fake. I actually have a nav screen now, which I never thought I'd like, and I absolutely love it. So it seems like every day now I'm getting new parts in for the car. We just got a new radiator in from Fluidyne High Performance. We already installed the JLT intake and the cover, and I'll actually put a little bit of an installation video and like first impressions on it together after this video drops. And then we've got a set of headers coming in. I can't tell you who they're from yet. We're working with someone on an exhaust right now. I'm going to be getting an MGW shifter put in at ASAP because even though the transmission is improved, the shifter from Ford is still shit. I don't know how they haven't learned this by now, but you can't use zip ties and plastic and shit on a shifter in a high horsepower car. Regardless, we're going to get an MGW put in, and then we've got a lot of other surprises down the way. So this was kind of a reintroduction to the channel. Obviously it's not going to be a 2013 twin turbo anymore, but if you guys still want to stick around, we've got an 18 now. We're going to have a nasty build coming your way, and I really want to hear your input on what you think about the car, and any first impressions of it, and also what you want to see done to the car or what you want to see documented. I will catch you guys next time.